Joanna, thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming to my little shop. Next year, I'll be in 20 years in business. That is a big accomplishment for the world of fashion at this moment. This is the biggest change in the industry ever. So let me tell you, who knows I won Project Runway? Okay. Do I even need to tell my story? So I actually come from a family with 8 girls. I'm number 6 out of 8 girls. My family actually came to the United States in 1979 at 6 years old. So really are the story of the American immigrant dream come true. So I was pretty much not your typical young lady growing up because I actually had one role model when I first came to the United States. Her name was Brenda Ng, and she was Chinese American cheerleader in 1980 something. And she sounded like this, and I'm like, what is that accent coming out? I'm actually Asian, but she sounds like this. You know, and I just came to US. I'm like, this is amazing. So it kind of just made me realize you can be anything, you can do anything. We're in America. So really, she was pretty much my first inspiration and idol to like let me realize, hey, anything is possible. So when after I saw her in 6th grade, in 7th, 8th grade, I was a cheerleader. And I also wrote for the school newspaper. I don't know how my English is still bad. But it actually made me realize, and I always loved fashion, and I actually had, this will dictate how old I am, I actually had my hair shaved like Whitney Houston to the side. So I've always loved fashion, even in junior high. But in the early 80s, there's no internet, there was nothing, so how do you even research? So my family actually, how my mom kind of supported us, she actually had 3 jobs for growing up. And so in junior high, we actually had a little flea market stand. And every Saturday and Sunday we worked. But we started working starting on Friday, and I hated the weekend. Because I'm like, the weekend means work. But it actually taught me work ethic, like literally when school started and was over. And that's how I actually got into fashion. Because every Saturday morning we style with Elsa Clinch. Who actually knows about her? Oh, thank you. High five. She was really the first pioneer of fashion. She was on CNN, and she brought the world of fashion into your house. This is with the beginning of Valentino, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana. I don't think Dolce & Gabbana even existed. Matana, he's not even here anymore. There's some names that doesn't even exist anymore. But that really was what brought my interest in fashion, ignited my really flame for fashion. But I thought, okay, how do I even become a fashion designer? The word doesn't really exist. I don't know what it's about. So I was going to actually go to UH and major in business. And then in college, I was a nerd, but I actually love fashion. But I decided, I want to be in fashion. But then I actually was going to enroll, but then I watched Dead Poets Society. Yeah, so I actually was at UH. I hated it. I really was like a nerdy girl, but like I wanted to be in fashion, but I didn't know how. I saw the movie Dead Poets Society, and the motto of the movie was, gotta be more, gotta see more, gotta do more, and corporate media. So I literally dropped out, and I went to ACC, and I went to New York for a week, and the week turned into 8 years. Wow. So that's how I got into fashion. I went to FIT, New York City, Fashion Institute of Technology, and even when I was younger, when I went to New York, I was probably 20. I knew I wanted to have my own business, no matter what, already at 20, because I grew up with a mom who was such an entrepreneur. Because from that one snack bar, she was able to save enough to open 1 dry clean station and then 5 dry clean stations. Yes, then she opened a little snack bar too because she wanted to go back to her roots. But I saw what hard work can really accomplish you. So I knew even at age 20, my goal was always to have my own business. So from 20 to 28, I worked in New York as, my degree was a pattern maker, not a designer, because I was a very cocky girl thinking, I don't need to be taught how to be a designer. I am a designer. Thank God I was not delusional. But so I actually have a degree in pattern making, and I wanted to really understand the production side of fashion because I thought that's really where the make it or break it of the business. Because if you can sketch something, but how do you make it? How do you fit it? How do you price it and get it to the right price point to the clientele? So my dream job really was with Melinda Ng, and she was, maybe Alicia might know her, but she actually sewed evening gowns at Bergdorf Goodman. Who knows Bergdorf Goodman? The most iconic high-end store you can have in the world. And I actually love to share this story because it really just, I hope it inspires other generations to just be brave. I went to Bergdorf, I looked around, I thought, oh, I love this woman so much. Who is she? Somehow a friend of mine knew who she was, and she's going to be at this cocktail party. Chloe, you need to go. So I went, I drank a little champagne, I came up to her and I said, I'm the best you're ever going to find. Yeah. And she hired me. And then I had to prove it that I was the best she's ever found. I could not believe she hired me on that basis. But really, turns out, everything looks amazing at Bergdorf until you go into the real reality of what her business was. It was a 300 square feet studio in the fashion district. I mean, it was really this size, one cutting table. She and I shared desk face to face. We faced each other every morning. She only had a part-time sewer, and she and I were the cutter. And she was like, Chloe, I slept on the table last night 3 nights in a row. I'm like, are you proud of that? Really? I don't know if you should be proud of that. You didn't shower for 3 days? I love your work ethics. I'm going to admire that. But really from that, I helped her grow from the 300 square feet to, by the time I left her, 5,000 square feet. Business, and I think she was up to $3 million. I actually helped her on her production. And she was in the movie Pret-a-Porter. She was in People magazine. We dressed Sharon Stone for the Oscar, Gina Davis. I love talking to y'all because I think y'all know who they are. Most probably millennials. They're like, oh, Gina Davis and Sharon Stone. But I actually learned a lot through the business because I worked with a showroom in New York that's dealt with Saks, Neiman's, all the big stores. We sold at Bergdorf, Southwich of London, Joyce in Hong Kong, like the top tier of evening wear, and that's my background. Our factory that we worked with had an Oscar de la Renta, Vacay Mishka. So I came from the super high-end market. But I knew I always wanted to have my own business, and I actually went from Finity Sportswear to Melinda Ng, and then I quit Melinda Ng and went back to Finity Sportswear. And every time I did that, I had a $20,000 raise. So the lesson that don't devalue yourself, because I did devalue myself. The only reason, honestly, I got those raises, someone came to me and said, Chloe, you're underpaid. I never knew I was underpaid until all the accountant, I guess they felt sorry for me, and came up to me like, Chloe, you're underpaid. So that's a lesson I actually like to share. So I didn't even see the value of my work until somebody told me. But that's how I was actually able to get the salary I was getting when I left. But I actually left all that because I wanted to have my own business within 2 years. And I moved back here. I did 2 years of research. And I left my high-paying job to work at a sales girl at Toka, next to Marc Jacob. Because I wanted to see what it was to deal with high-end sales. So I did that for a year. Then I wanted to know how it was to be a buyer. So I worked with, I interned with a lady who went to all the high-end shows, Balenciaga. I went to all the fashion shows for like 7 days straight. I did fashion show from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. You think it's glamorous until it's like, I can't see another fashion show. It becomes monotonous. And then after that, I actually wanted to work with a very small designer again, because I knew if I moved back to Houston, I'm just going to be a small designer. My goal was always to make everyone feel beautiful and dress everyone. So I worked with Gregory Parkinson, and he's still in business. He's actually moved to LA. He's super high end, but I love his work. And I went back to literally just him and I in his apartment studio with his key. And he dyed the fabric in a tub. He was like Todd Odo. And then I was sewing his label for him, like from a high-paying job. Yeah, I'll sew your label. I have no ego when it comes to learning what you need to learn. I put your ego away. He gave me this opportunity. So from then on, really, I did 2 years of research before I moved back here to Houston, Texas. Before what was the growing market, what the fashion scene here is. And it was the first time in 1998, 99 that fashion was actually a scene here. There was a store called Mix here. There was Katia. Who heard of Katia? Yes, secret store. The first time ever I saw a picture of it last week. Because you can't go in there without an apartment, and there's like appointment, there's no window opening, like it's secret vault. So we were finally getting press in the fashion industry versus Dallas. Dallas is like the queen bee in fashion in Texas. So I decided it was time to move down, and in 2000 I opened my business. I actually was living with my mom. I saved up my money, used my business, my credit card to open the business. I'm a crafty girl. My dad and my sister built the flooring, built the dressing room. The chandelier is all DIY. We make it ourselves, and the orchid too. So I love being a crafty girl. But anyway, so we actually were really successful when we first opened already, and the goal of the store has always been to be like a New York store where we were actually trying to showcase local artists. When we first opened, we had a lot of local artists, local designers, because I wanted to support the local designer also, and then other stuff that we bought for private label. And then 2000, I saw Project Runway. I was gonna try out for season 1, but when I found out about it, it was the day of casting was in Miami. Like, I don't know how to fly Miami last minute. I watched the show, and the tryout for season 2 was in Houston, Texas, at the San Martin Hotel. And I was like, yeah, so I'm like, okay, it's destiny. I love the show. And do they really make clothes in 12 hours? Are they lying? They can't be true. They're lying. They're lying. So I decided, and I had a beautiful portfolio shot from my New York photographer. So my portfolio was set already. And my video submission is, by that time, my mother, like, she loves me, but she's like, okay, you're in the garage, girl. You're going to be sewing yourself in the garage. So my tryout tape was called the Asian One Woman Sweatshop. So that was the garage going, then I was like, this is my design studio. And then I had a beautiful store. But that tryout, I did the video, and that's how I got on the show. I submitted the video, and the rest is history.
What
So
year was that?
2005 filming, and then 2006 finale when it was aired. And so I won Project Runway, and it's been really, really honestly amazing. It's a gift that keeps on giving, because now I think it's been, 14 years later. I did QVC for 3 years. I actually had my own line on QVC for 3 years, Simply Chloe Dow. I found out I was super fortunate to last for 3 years, because tons of other Project Runway alumni has done QVC, and they only are given one show, and they just can't make the sales. For me to do 3 years in QVC and 2 Today Value Special, I feel really blessed after I saw how hard it was. I just thought, oh, it's easy, everybody. It's easy. Just go there and talk for an hour, live television. You know? It's actually quite hard. But I did an event with Dove. I think the biggest thing for me was really to be judged for Project Runway Vietnam a few years ago. I flew down there for the first season, executive producer and judge. I didn't come back because my Vietnamese wasn't very good. I told them I don't speak Vietnamese, y'all. But anyway, but I think what I really love the most that I get to do, and it's just been boiled down, it's been the #1 goal of why I do this, is to make every woman feel beautiful. And I never care about dressing celebrities. I never did. For a moment I did, because, after I won, there was a PR machine. Like, you need a PR team, you need to dress all the celebrities. It was a giant machine, but I was like, I really don't care, but okay, this is how I'm gonna grow my business. I'll do it. But the goal has always been to dress everyone. So, like, this year, and what I feel like my team, and I couldn't do it without a team. My team, Delcia, Alexandra, Caroline, and Delcia brought this event up, because look at this food. And y'all know me, I love food. What I learned throughout, this is my 20th year next year, but be my 28th year in fashion. Next year, fully. And this world, I actually would like to talk about the changing world of fashion. We just came from the trade show yesterday, literally in Las Vegas. And the world of fashion has changed so much. And it has shrank so much. But it also has given the opportunity for everyone to really find their own personal style. There is no dictatorship now of what the trend is. The people decides the trend. the bloggers, the stay-at-home mom, because now everyone has an audience and everyone has a self-brand. Everyone is a brand now. Unfortunately, yes, we're all a brand. Yes, and I think it is the new dynamic of being a businesswoman now. And it doesn't even matter what field you're in, because how you present yourself and how you look. And I love Cecilia saying emotional creation, because it's also about physical. How you dress represent how much you care about yourself and how much you care about your job. So, how you dress is your social armor. And it is super important. Like, if you saw me before I came here, some of y'all did, I actually was in my Oompa Loompa polka dot jumpsuit that I love. It makes me feel comfortable, but I had to change to this. I'm like, okay, I feel like Chloe now. The other one is Chloe. This is Chloe now. Because it does, clothes. And I actually went to, y'all, I'm sure you know Pink Petro.
Yes.
Yeah, so I went to her networking event 2 weeks ago at her house. And I was talking, because we're thinking of doing a line that will be awesome workwear, but also translation to just being chic and easy. I think it's a missing market. And one of my favorite, and I'm still learning about the corporate world, because I've always been in fashion, and I don't know what the world of fashion corporate is very different from any corporate world. And my favorite story that I learned was how all of them did use clothes as a powerful point for them to feel controlling and powerful. And I was surprised, I forgot her name, but she was in charge of a bunch of men, and I think it was in Italy, and when she has, and they're her most difficult group, she puts on a hot pink heels for her suit. I'm like, are y'all allowed to wear hot pink heels? I was very surprised, but I was very surprised to realize how she also used clothes. And I thought, it's something that we always try to educate and elevate and enrich and empower a client, how clothes is important and impactful. And it's nice to actually hear a personal story that people aren't actually using that and how impactful it is. And confidence, of course, we all want confidence, but confidence is something like a muscle. You have to feed it, you have to train it. It doesn't just come naturally. Everybody think, oh, just be confident, put on a dress. It is something you have to grow and mature in, and something you actually have to almost teach yourself and brainwash yourself to have it. Because I think it's okay to have self-doubt, but those self-doubts is the thing that you need to pinpoint what's your weakness and bring a team in. And this is what fashion can help you. There are moments when you don't feel it, your right outfit can make you feel it. The right outfit will make you taller, skinnier, more powerful, more poised, and sometimes it needs a girdle, and sometimes it needs a lip, sometimes it needs tape, but who cares? Nobody sees it underneath all that. And I actually like to compare it to men's like custom bespoke suits. People don't realize all that thing is padding. There is so much padding on a man. I'm sorry, Tom. It is so much padding because it's their armor. I mean, there is shoulder pad, there is horsehair, there is sleeve pad, there's like 3 layers of canvas to give them that illusion of power and structure. And I think women also needs to realize that you have to invest in your time. And men think, and I always like, you need to alter your clothes because it's not about the size, it's about the fit. And it's not about dressing when I'm gonna be skinny or taller, it's dressing for yourself for now. Because now is what you really need to deal with. You can't dress for your future self and you'll I can't wait to have this, I can't. No, you can have all this and you portray all this in the way that you need to portray it. Because when Cecilia came in here and talked, I'm like, oh, she has her signature. She got her accessory down, her colorful shoe, her accessories. She's a woman who cares about her look, who cares about what she does and how she presents herself. And that's how powerful fashion is. Because I'm like, you always want to have that. For me, it's my bang right now. My bang has brought me 10 pounds. My bang has been 10 years. And you know who does this the most? Donna Karen. Donna Karen cuts her bangs all the time. When she needs to feel younger, cut your bangs. But I really want to impart on that. Fashion is an education. It's not something you can all, some of us are innate, but even for myself, my style has changed a lot throughout the years because I have to change and evolve with my business. This is next year's our 20th year, and we're actually changing our messaging. We really are clearly now saying fashion is a service that we provide. It's not something frivolous. It is something super powerful. It is a tool that you can use, And sometimes you just need help to figure out what that tool is. And that's why we're here. People don't realize you come in, we will help you. Just tell us where you need to go, and we'll tell you if it's appropriate or not. Because sometimes it's just not appropriate. Sometimes you come out of the dressing room and it does not work on you, you know. But that's why I think, you know, thank you for coming here and really listening about the fashion, my history, but it's really about my love of helping and educating women, really, because that's honest is what I love to do, because I will always remember this story. I help a client, and I'm like, don't you feel beautiful? And she's like, this is the first time in my life I feel beautiful. And I almost wanted to cry, because I'm like, wow, she's in her late 30s, and she has never felt beautiful. And sometimes you don't think that's not the norm, but sometimes it is the norm, and sometimes you just have to show someone that they are beautiful, and it's just a little tweak, you know. Sometimes it's just the right outfit, the right like nip in the waist, the right seaming, and it's just the right outfit. I mean, it was just a dress. I mean, she just came from the gym. She does what's that thing that's hardcore? No. Yes. So she was like, oh, you know, like all shoulder. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta feminize you somehow. You know, that thing, you know, young ladies need to stop at certain points, you know. It's like, you know. But she actually felt beautiful and feminine, and I'm like, wow, I will always remember that, because that's how powerful a dress can do. You know, like it changes her whole mindset, and she saw herself. Like how we should all see her, you know, ourselves daily. And sometimes that is a struggle, but that's why the power of clothes is so amazing. Like I have pieces in my closet that, okay, I need to be this Chloe now. I'll put it on. But that is my presentation. I can talk forever. Yes.
Do you feel like Dallas is still seen as like the fashion capital of Texas, or do you feel like it's used to now?
Dallas will always be the capital of fashion, because there's the fashion market there. There's the gift market there. There's manufacturing there. And so they will always win that. But we have Becker Carpet Thrash, we have Lynn Wyatt, and they beat any of their socialites. So when it comes to the iconic fashion socialites, we actually have more of the iconic. They're always in Vogue, they're always in like International Story. Becca Thrash is out actually helping raise money for the Louis before, and she's helping raise money for the Notre Dame now. So like in the international level, we actually have really higher tier socialite. And I'll take that. Yes, somebody.
What's been your toughest challenge to overcome? Like, what was a moment where you were like, wow, I don't know if I could do this, or
yeah, every day. But great question. Actually, the recession, probably like 8 or 7 years ago. So my store was double the size. So before I went on Project Runway, and we were already doing super well in 2004. Then I won Project Runway, but before even that, the store was doing super well, and I opened double the size. So it was huge. It was like 4,000 something square feet. And then the recession hit, and I was so busy being employed out in QVC. I did the Smithsonian Museum. I did all this other thing. I wasn't really here to see what was going on. Like, hey, it's functioning. I'll go do. I didn't look at the numbers. And then next thing I know, like, okay, honey, you're not doing well. Like, you're about to be shut down in 3-4 months if you don't make the changes. But I think, if anything I can impart is like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, I'm one thing, I'm not afraid to ask for help. So I actually applied for Rice University MBA Master Program Business, and for them to do I was their pet project. So I pitched that my store is going under, but I do have a brand. What do I need to do? And so they spent 5 months with me looking at everything, my finance, my hours, my employees. And so you have to like be so open. Like it's really scary. Like it's very, very vulnerable. But I knew I needed help. Like I knew I didn't like ask for outside help, because I don't have a business background at all. I actually have a degree in associate, and I have my mom like business background. And so I'm like, okay, but I realized I need to like get with a professional. And then they told me, Chloe, and it was called Light 8 for the longest time. Yeah, and they said, Chloe, your name actually means something. You need to change it to your name. And I was still resistant. I was like, no, I don't want to be Chloe Dow Boutique. Lottie is named after Lottie's sisters, 8 of us girls. Then who knows Janet Gerwich? Janet Gerwich is the founder of Laura Mercier Makeup, and she's here in Houston. She was actually vice president or president of Neiman Marcus, and she left a high-paying job to create Laura Mercier Makeup because she realized at that era there was no makeup company that was pioneered by a woman makeup artist. It was all male makeup artists. And so since she worked with all the editors and all the Vogue magazines, she called them and she said, who is the most favorite makeup artist that's female? I will create a line with her. It was Laura Mercier. So I was like, oh, I met Laura Mercier once at a woman thing. Maybe she'll have dinner with me. Maybe I can ask her some questions. I was really, really scared. I emailed her. She's like, oh, Chloe, I know who you are. Yes, I'll have dinner with you. She knows who I am. You know? 'Cause I never think anybody knows who I am. So I actually had dinner with her and I asked her, what should I do? And she actually said, Chloe, you're the one person in this city. When I say your name, people know who you are. And so you need to change your name to Chloe Dow. So since she told me to, I didn't listen to my rice. Since Janet Gerwich told me to, I did it. So that's why now the last 7 or 8 years is Chloe Dow Boutique. Dow Chloe Dow really because the house of Chloe's and I can't be Chloe Dow. Because people get confused. I'm like, you can get confused with Chloe.
Every once in a while, someone will call the store and be like, you guys sell Chloe handbags, right? And I'm like, wrong store.
If you want to pay $10,000. But so I actually, that was when, but I cut my store in half. Some of my employee went away and I actually had to figure out what was my strong point. And actually this year is a year of changes for us too. Because I feel the fashion industry is changing so much and we have to realize that clothes is not for business. And so we have to really showcase, even on our website, what we do here. Because what we do custom designing. We do size from 0 to 24. We even, everything, there's something for everyone, but people don't see it on our website. We've been helping clients since next year I'll be in business for 20 years. I've literally dressed a girl when she was 12 and now she's 34 or 40. So, we really do dress you throughout your life. And people don't realize that too much. So we are in this whole branding and messaging process. But that was the hardest time and I cried when they gave me the presentation. And it was like my baby. Any other questions?
Well, I just want to say that on your season of Project Runway, you were my favorite because I did enjoy your clothes, but also because you were Houston homegrown girl, and I'm a native Houstonian.
Oh, thank you. And I wasn't crazy?
No, you were representing well. And but I remember very distinctly that when you did win, you were very vocal about the fact that you were going to keep your business in Houston.
Yeah.
And you have really made us proud.
Oh,
and
thank
I
you.
just remember thinking I knew I loved her.
Yeah.
She was like that homegrown girl, and so anyway, so we're very proud of you as a city, and very proud of your success.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you have put Houston on the map. I think at that time we really weren't on the map for our fashion industry, and you really helped to shine a light on it.
It's amazing how many international press has come because of Project Runway. Like I did an interview with Shanghai. I'm like, they came. I'm like, okay, we're gonna pretend we understand each other. She asked me in Chinese, and I was like, I was like, oh, good. But thank you so much. It's been, but this city has given me really my career and my life, because I never actually wanted to move back to New York City. I always thought you can make it here, and especially now as an entrepreneur, I mean, in the world of fashion too, you can make it anywhere, but with education. But with education and the right hustle and the right messaging, it's not as easy as people think. You turn on the website.
So, if we wanted to come in, whether we're 00 or 24, and have an appointment to kind of get help, how would we do that?
Just email me.
Just call us.
Okay.
Yeah.
You call us up.
Because it's honestly is what we love to do. Like our client is literally 12 to 70.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like right now I'm working on mother the bride, mother the groom, but then also someone who just wants a sequin top, and a cobalt wedding dress. You know, because she's unique that way.
Yeah.
You can carry it off. But then if you want to just come in and style, that's awesome. Like, hey, I have this top, what works with it.
And you do custom as well.
Yeah, and you do custom as well. But then I have, on the website, there is 12 years of my collection. So if you like any of the piece, we can do a recut based on that. And then we can help you select fabric with a porcelain not word. Yeah, so we do a lot. You would just don't know it.
Are your clothes manufactured here?
Yes. So anything with my big label, it's made here in the Heights. So in the design studio, it's myself, my assistant, my other part-time assistant, Michelle. Then I have a part-time 2 sewers, and they sew at home too for me. And then I have a few interns. Oh no, actually, and I have Jade. So like three assistants at the design studio, and then a few interns.
So I have a quick tip, follow Chloe on Instagram.
Yes.
Because if you want to pick from her back catalog, there's like, she'll post all sorts of things for different times, and it's really tempting to come in and be like, I saw this from like 10 years ago on your Insta.
Content idea.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth all day. I'm on those today. I have no idea. But let me make sure the AC is on. Because I feel like it's sunny. Any other questions?
You gotta get to selfie time. We all have
Okay, y'all want a picture with us?
Yes.
No way!
Send me this in the email because I was like, this is getting too.